Hey, Lily Wong here, and this is Fly with Lily podcast. Life can throw us unexpected curveballs of all kinds, from the loss of a loved one, career change, or family problems. For me, it was the loss of my mother and my marriage. The worst experiences of my life led to the most euphoric learning experience and life journey I ever could have imagined. My journey let me dive within myself, overcome my fears, drop disempowering beliefs, and remove mental limitations. From motivation, language learning, business, nomadic life stories, or world travel, to just plain dropping your baggage, Fly with Lily podcast offers the inspiration you need to open yourself to this world of opportunities without limits. Hi there, welcome to Fly with Lily podcast episode 4. I'm your host, Lily Wong. I'm so happy that you tuned in to this podcast. In today's episode, I'd like to talk about connecting the dots and share my personal story. Have you watched Steve Jobs' commencement speech at Stanford in 2005? If you haven't, I strongly recommend you check it out on the internet. That speech moved me deeply, especially when he talked about connecting the dots in his life. He shared how he dropped out of college and followed his intuition and curiosity and started to drop into the calligraphy class, which fascinated him. 10 years later, that fascination inspired him to create the beautiful typography in Macintosh computers. Have you made this comment when you look back on your life? If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have become this. Steve Jobs put this beautifully. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect your future. You have to trust something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing the dots will connect down the road will give you confidence to follow your heart even when it leads you to the off-worn path, and that will make all the difference. Do you worry about being in the right place at the right time? There's no need to be anxious because you are exactly where you need to be. Every step you take actually helps you become who you are supposed to be and arrive to where you are meant to be. When I began to travel in 2005, though traveling is my biggest passion, I used to think it was just an expensive hobby. I was concerned that none of the experiences would have any practical application in my life. I had seen traveling as a way to escape my boring routine or have a taste of being someone different for a while. However, years later, I was able to look back and finally connect the dots. I now can fully understand this quote: "Travel is the only thing that you can spend money on that makes you richer." In today's episode, I want to share a story that happened when I first went abroad and changed my life 10 years later. It was back in the summer in 2005. I was a junior in university and I was looking for adventure for myself that summer. I was very into this TV show called Sex and the City and had a dream of going to New York City to visit where Carrie got her inspiration. I found a friend and we both booked tickets to New York City. Before we hit the road, I did a lot of homework, determined to make this trip very special for both of us. In one of the tour books I read, I saw this free tour service called Big Apple Greeter, and it caught my eye. At that time, I was just a college student who only wanted to save some money on the trip. Then I thought, wouldn't it be cool to connect with a real New Yorker? I immediately logged onto their website and submitted a form to Big Apple Greeter. They responded to me the next day. Since I had no friends in America, that contact with Big Apple Greeter made it very special to me, as if I had a friend who was already waiting for my arrival. On the day we met our greeter, Al, he took us to Ground Zero, a fireman's museum, and also showed us around Lower Manhattan. It was such an unforgettable experience that I never would have had if I was just following the guidebooks I read. I was interacting with a real New Yorker. After that visit, Al invited us to have lunch with his granddaughter at his house in Queens on the weekend. We took the subway to Al's house following the instructions he had given us, telling us how to get there. Then we had Ero, a popular local snack, with his granddaughter Nikki and had a wonderful time sightseeing in Queens. Al took a lot of photos along the way and he even printed them out for us as gifts. We mentioned during our conversations that we were thinking about visiting the Empire State Building the next day, to which Al suggested that we used his senior pass for the entrance. We didn't think much of it, but when we arrived at the entrance of Empire State Building, there was already a huge queue. Al showed up and used his pass and we strolled past the line of people and arrived at the top in 15 minutes. Al didn't join us, but he had gone out of his way and traveled all the way from home just to let us use his special pass. I was simply touched. 1 year later, Al made a trip to Taipei and we met up for lunch. To my surprise, Al still insisted on treating us to lunch. Al was always so wonderful to us, but I think we kind of failed to be the best Taipei greeters while he was there. Besides Al, I also met a lot of kind strangers during my trips over the years. I think the only way to reciprocate is to pass this love and kindness on to other people. So I started being a greeter in my own city and showed my international friends around town. I found immense joy in doing this, but I had no idea how this skill or passion would help my future. Years later, when I desperately needed a project to work on and practice being my own boss, the idea of greeter service came to me. As a result, Shanghai Greeters was born. It was the first greeter service in China. Because of being a founder of Shanghai Greeters, I was even in the local English newspaper twice. Everyone I met thought of this as a great idea to diminish cultural misunderstanding and help locals develop their social skill. To this day, our greeters in Shanghai have received more than 2,000 visitors from around the world, and we keep receiving positive feedback. Also, greeter services have spread in China to Beijing, Chongqing, Dalian, Xi'an, Hangzhou, and Jinan. The positive energy has changed a lot of people, and our visitors once said, "We are offering the best things in the world." I'm also happy to have found people who have the same mission as me, which is to make people who come to China feel very welcome during their trip. As Fabian Fredrickson says, the things you are passionate about are not random. They are your calling. If I hadn't traveled to New York City, I wouldn't have had received help from Big Apple Greeter and wouldn't have been inspired to start this service. Also, this decision led to where I am today. After a year of running Greeter, I started my own travel business and podcast which set me free. Those experiences which I once thought wouldn't have any use in my life actually led me closer to my dreams. I believe there's a reason why you are attracted to this podcast, and I'm here to remind you, regardless where you are in your life, you can always find purpose in life and live in fulfillment. All you really need is already in you. Don't be afraid to pursue what interests you and do what you love. Try not to take life too seriously to where it stops you from having any experiences at all. but rather be confident in knowing that no matter what choice you make, it is all leading you to become who you aspire to be. You need to create some dots to connect, and they don't have to be the safe choices that people around you are making. So the questions go out to you. Have you been able to connect the dots in your life? If so, what have you found? Do you usually listen to your intuition and follow your heart? I'd like to hear your own success stories. This has been another episode of the Fly with Lily podcast. So what now? Go to flywithlily.com to download my gift for you to help work on your abundant lifestyle, or contact me directly for a consultation. This show takes a lot of work and planning, so if you enjoyed it, please consider a 5-star review on iTunes, following on Facebook and Instagram at Fly with Lily, or come up and give our crew a hug on the street when you are on your journey. Thanks for listening, and remember, life's curveballs can be your best opportunities.